Welcome back to the Stanford Breeder podcast. I'm Monty.
And I'm Sam. Let's go on with today's podcast. We've got a big game, Man City.
We do.
Make sure, if you enjoy the podcast, to subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
And let's get on with today's topic, Monty. Man City. We had Liverpool 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And it was an eventful game. Not much really happened. 0-0 draw. Reece James getting a red card, which, red card or not, we still managed to scrape a draw from that. But Man City
And a 3-0 win against Tottenham.
exactly. Man City is obviously a bigger challenge because they are looking strong this season. What's your thoughts going into this game?
Well, you say they're looking strong. I don't know. It's interesting because I think that City are not exactly where they need to be in terms of title defence compared to other teams such as Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should be a good game because it's what's the word? It's gonna make some. I think tempers are gonna flare this game, and you're gonna see the true side of players.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's a tough challenge against Man City, but then again, Man City are out of form. So.
Yeah. Obviously, new signing for Man City, Grealish. We talked about this on the massive transfer update video. 100 million, obviously. Probably the biggest transfer this season, apart from Ronaldo.
And Messi.
But 100 mil, is it worth it? And has Grealish proved that he is worth that 100 million that City paid?
No. Why? £100 million on Grealish is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe again a good bit of player for £100 million, but I don't think I'm paying £100 million of Grealish on any given day.
No, I don't think so either. I think Gabriel Jesus, Ferran Torres, playing pretty well for the start of the season. Ferran Torres getting a couple of goals, couple of assists at the start of the season, and same for
Mahrez
Jesus.
is playing very well as well.
I think they are our main threats. Ferran Torres, youngster, very very good football player, baller. But it's just again it's City. We got to smash them really. And if we don't, I'll be disappointed because, as you said, 3-0 win against Tottenham is exceptional. Both, I believe, was it Christensen? No, it was Rudiger and
Thiago
Silva. That was it. Rudiger and Thiago Silva, but two centre backs getting a goal each in that game.
And Kante.
Yeah, love to see it. So that was a good game for us, and I think Man City gives me a bit of confidence going into this game.
Yeah. Also, something else to take into consideration: Manchester City lack a striker. Basically, they don't have a striker right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, El Kun Agüero, he's gone to Barcelona, but that's definitely something that's going to be on the minds of Chelsea players and fans alike. I think it's good. It's good that City don't have a striker.
Yeah, I think. And we proved that we have such a solid defence.
Yeah.
Tottenham couldn't break through it. They didn't really cause any main threats, really. And for Man City to have that crucial spot missing, or lacking, we should say, is vital against our side.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've copped Big Rom, who's personally going to be top goal scorer in this season. Do you think?
Maybe. I think Ronaldo will get top goal scorer.
Yeah. That will be a tight one for top goal scorer.
Yeah.
But I think we just got the better side at the moment, don't you?
Yeah. If you look at what City have in strength, we have in other areas. If that makes sense. So City are heavily stacked in the midfield. So are we. Mm-hmm. But if you look at our attacking threat, it's much better compared to City's.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a really good game. Personally, I think it's going to be really close.
I think, obviously, talking about our defence, City's defence is very good as well.
Yeah.
Ruben Diaz is very, very good. And Laporte, I believe, is shining through this season because he didn't have a great season last season. Stones hasn't yet to be played.
I think he's injured right
Yeah,
now.
he was injured, but they didn't even play him for the start of the season, which was a bit of a shock after he played that much last season and didn't get the starting game. But I think we're equal in that terms. Ederson, obviously a great goalie, but I think Mendy's brilliant as well and can put him up for a challenge in that game.
Yeah, of course.
It's either just going to be sit down boring game,
Yeah.
isn't it, 0-0, or it's going to be really interesting, and I think it's going to go to that side, and it's going to be an interesting game.
I hope it is, because I'm not going to sit on my sofa at 12 o'clock on a Saturday and be bored, because I've got better things to do. Well, Guardiola. Let's talk about Guardiola.
Yeah.
What are your general feelings towards Pep Guardiola?
I think I've watched Man City all or nothing. He's a bit of a crazy lad, but I think he's a strong manager. He's done brilliant things for the club. Obviously winning the title last season. Nothing much else. Bit obviously he didn't carry City to the Champions League because we beat them. But yeah, I think he's a good manager for City. I think he does what he needs to do. But the main thing, obviously they have loads of players that they can rotate, and you should really be using. But I think they're rotating them too much because they're for me. If you had a really good starting team, I would use that team for most percentage of the game.
Yeah.
Every game we see a rotation from Pep, whether it's in the midfield or the defence. We don't really see the top players changing much, apart from Ferran Torres.
Yeah, I mean, historically, though, it's worked, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Pep Guardiola has been successful in every single team he's ever managed. He's very similar to Mourinho in that respect, apart from, a few exceptions.
Yeah.
Guardiola's been, he's won silverware every single club he's been to.
Yeah.
Bayern, Barcelona and City. And maybe, him playing Pep roulette works. You keep core players in the squad such as De Bruyne, Ederson, Ederson, De Bruyne, Torres, Mahrez, those sorts of lads. If you keep them in the squad and rotate everyone else around them, then maybe it's something other people have got to catch up onto.
Yeah, I would agree, but there's one slight thing is just I feel like as if the players that are on the bench are given the opportunity to play one game. They're brilliant, but then they get swapped.
Yeah.
And for me, you're never going to know. We're never going to know whether Kai Havertz is going to be brilliant this season if he plays one game against Norwich, bangs in a couple of goals, and then you don't play him against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to see whether you can play against the tougher teams, whether you can battle with them. But rotating them every single game with those players that are on the bench, I think is a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough.
We've obviously got a new signing, which we didn't talk about in transfer updates because it wasn't out.
It didn't happen.
Saul.
Saul.
What's your initial thoughts? Obviously, Tuchel played him against Aston Villa.
Apparently he was shocking.
And he was very, very bad. And Tuchel even said, I don't know why I started him. I thought he would fit into the squad straight away. But we are going to work on him in training. That's what Tuchel said.
I think these things take time. Coming on loan from Atletico Madrid, it takes time. Starler, he's never played in the Premier League. Style of play is extremely different between La Liga and Premier League. If you look at it fundamentally, Saul Niguez is not going to be ready straight away like that. And maybe it's a little bit unrealistic for Tuchel to expect that Saul's going to be, up to match standards, Premier League ready, with only, a week of training. And maybe it's, also some things you've got to take. He barely speaks English. He's never had to, so why would he? So the only people he can really relate to are defenders. So I sort of feel for him, because it's tough joining a squad on loan, knowing that, you might not even get a play in every now and then.
Yeah.
and that you've got to go back to a club that maybe you're not getting on with the best with at the end of a season.
Yeah.
So as a loan player, I think it's one of the hardest things you can do, go and play on loan. Because it just creates problems.
Yeah. I think, personally, he's a perfect replacement for Jorginho.
Yeah.
Not so Kovacic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question about Kovacic in a minute, but I think it's a good move for him. He's gonna get rotation.
Yeah.
He's not gonna start every game. We know that because Jorginho is playing fairly well this season, and N'Golo Kante is going to start coming back into the squad after missing nearly 4 months of last season. So N'Golo Kante is going to get a lot of involvement this season. But I think it's good for him to just get rotation, play for a top flight club, and see what he can do. And Tuchel obviously needs to see that. And actually, no, I don't think he should start against City.
Yeah. He's one of the players that should come on at half time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go on to a question. Kovacic, underrated or overrated?
Underrated right now. I was reading a stat on Instagram as I was scrolling through at night, and he's for Chelsea. He's leading Chelsea in most passes, most touches on the ball, and I think it was like most tackles won or something like that.
Yeah,
but it was definitely most passes. So I think that for that he's underrated.
I love him. No,
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant. I've said it before. He always carries momentum forward, and I think we've seen it already this season, getting 2 assists and 1 goal.
Yeah.
And no, actually, I believe 2 goals now, and 2 assists, both for Romelu Lukaku. And I think it's a great start for the season for him, and I think Tuchel needs to start him for more important games because I think that's what we need in the squad.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to do another one. Grealish, underrated or overrated?
Grealish is properly rated. Like, he's not like people. You know how like people will go on Instagram and like bumlick Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen really that much with Grealish.
No.
Like people don't underrate him. Like I've never said to anyone like, "Oh, Grealish is like underrated." No one really talks about him that much. Like people talk about him a fair bit.
Yeah.
And that's because he's a good player. Like he's come into Man City. He's done well immediately. Sort of shows what sort of caliber of player he is. But yeah, I think he's properly rated. What about you?
Yeah, I think I don't really hear much of, Grealish is amazing, the things he does in the pitch.
Yeah.
I hear he's won, he's got them up to the Premier League in his lucky boots for Aston Villa, had a great season, and he's carried it on to the Premier League, and I think he deserves to be talked about, but I think if he starts to become overrated, I think it's going to be a shame because it will just ruin who he is in a way.
Yeah, I get it.
I personally don't want to hear all about Grealish. He's a brilliant player, but it's nice to be, you know what, that guy's a brilliant player, and he's not overrated and talked about all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
This is obviously going to be biased.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone in the Chelsea squad is overrated?
Yeah, I do.
Who would that be?
I think that maybe Kante is overrated a little bit.
Kante?
Yeah.
Really?
People on the internet overrate him. I don't get me wrong. Yeah, I love the guy and he plays well, very well for what he is. But people overrate him on Twitter and that. Like he's good, but he didn't deserve the Ballon d'Or or anything like that.
No, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I think. Do you think what's his name? Kai Havertz. Because people talk
slate
about
him like so much.
Mm.
I don't think that's deserved, but again, I don't think he's like underrated. That's he's overhated, is what he is.
Yeah.
A bit like Werner. But yeah, I don't think anyone else really.
No.
Maybe Chilwell to an extent.
Yeah.
He gets overrated to an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it, to be honest.
Obviously Werner, coming on for his second game of the season, I believe, maybe his first against Tottenham, getting an assist straight away.
Yeah,
for
good.
Tony Rudiger.
Yeah, and he played well as well. To be fair,
Do you think his start of his uprise? I don't want to jinx it, but can you see it coming from Timo Werner?
No,
No,
no.
you don't have confidence for him, do you?
What, Werner?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just can't really trust the guy.
really.
He's just quite an untrustworthy don.
I think he's a good substitute for.
He's a good
Lukaku
Yeah, of
or-
course he is. He's probably up there with one of the best substitutes in the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
If to have that as a backup striker is definitely you're not doing badly.
No, yeah,
Yeah, I think he's good, but it's just like
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust Timo Werner with my life to take a open goal free kick.
Fair enough. It's just, I mean, he's good. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah,
But I want to say I can see it.
Yeah.
I want to say I can see it, and he comes on,
Yeah.
and gets 2 or 3 goals in the game and
Hat-trick.
starts.
Timo Werner Premier League hat trick.
But
God, could you
is
imagine
it? Is it gonna happen?
that? No,
Is it realistic?
'cause he's not good enough to score a
No.
hat trick.
You never know. You never know.
In the Prem, he's not good enough to score a hat trick.
No. Any other players to talk about? Trevor Chalobah, is he going to start?
I hope so. I like him.
Clever.
I really like him.
He-
Yeah,
he's a good player. I think.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I like him.
Obviously, Reece James red card against Liverpool. Didn't start against Tottenham.
Well, yeah, he can't. He
Uh,
can't play, can he?
no, he could. He was allowed to play because Liverpool, then Aston Villa. Aston Villa was his ban.
No, if you get a straight red card, you get banned for 2 matches.
Oh God, yeah, that's why he didn't play.
Maybe.
So, is he going to start?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully.
I want him to start. He's had a brilliant start to the season. You know, I believe it's
Yeah.
3 assists now. And playing him in that right mid /
It's
right
good.
wing
It's
back
good for him. It's good
position. Yeah, really good. He's powerful. Got a brilliant right foot on him and
Yeah.
left foot. And I think it's a good opportunity for the youngster to start.
for him. Yeah. Maybe.
Scorelines?
Score. Oh, tough one. 2-1 Chelsea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Who'd score?
Romelu Lukaku at the double.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to go with... I want to say a high-scoring game.
It won't
I really
be.
want
though.
to see it.
It won't be.
3-1 Chelsea.
Alright.
With Romelu to score 1. No, Romelu to score... Yeah, Romelu to score 1. Reece James to score 1. And an 85-minute goal. Sub Timo Werner. I reckon.
Now, wouldn't that be good?
That would just be lovely. That would be lovely. Anything else to talk about?
I don't think so. I
No?
do not think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's about time. We ended the City podcast. You know, we've got a couple of tier lists coming out. Don't know when they're going to come out. They're in the making. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you did. It's been a good podcast, hasn't it?
It indeed has. Indeed, it has. Samuel.
TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify are in the descriptions. Especially go over and click on Instagram. We're currently at 700 and something followers. Big up. We're doing a lot of stuff on our stories, a lot of polls. So go click on them, answer them if you want to, get involved. And we'll see you, tier list, match review, whenever.
Whenever.
We'll sort it. Adios.
Bye for now.